Hi all, Salvatore here with a brief excerpt from my book, Dharma Democracy. Now, a lot of people have asked me, why did it take so long, 5 years, to research and write a book on Indian democracy? And I'll tell you, it all comes down to the state of the scholarship about India and Indian democracy. You can't take any of the existing scholarship for granted. Everything has to be checked, double-checked, triple-checked. So I'm going to read you here an excerpt from my book about Akbar, the Mughal emperor who lived 1542 to 1605, and who is celebrated as, quote, Akbar the Tolerant. Let's ask how tolerant he really was. So this is from the book. Akbar is widely celebrated for his Sufi religious syncretism. In a much repeated anecdote, Akbar is said to have commented that, quote, the wisdom of the Vedanta is the wisdom of Sufism, end quote. Much wishful history rests on this single, unsourced dictum, recorded by a now deceased German historian, Anne-Marie Schimmel. Schimmel did not provide a source for this quote, so we just have to take her word for it that it exists somewhere in the archives in Akbar's corpus. Okay, back to the book. The absence of a source for the quote even leaves its meaning open to question. Was Akbar perhaps being ironic, implying that there was as little wisdom in the Sufism as there was in the Vedanta? After all, he discarded both in favor of creating his own religion. Non-experts have no way to verify this, and the experts simply cite Schimmel. The religious historian Wendy Doniger, for example, citing Schimmel, turns the quote into a proclamation, quote, universalizing the two great universalizing religions by equating, which is to say, universalizing them, end quote. Now, this one phrase from Schimmel that is attributed to Akbar is thin evidence for Doniger's conclusion that, quote, Akbar the Tolerant was by far the most pluralist of the Mughal rulers, indeed, of most rulers anywhere and any time in history. Now, I know there have been a lot of repressive rulers throughout history, but was Akbar the most tolerant of all rulers anywhere at any time? Just because he said that, just because he allegedly said that there's as much wisdom in the Vedanta as there is in Sufism. After all, Akbar is a ruler who created his own religion to supplant both the Hindu faith and the Muslim faith. He created his new syncretic religion, and I'm going to read you what a British historian had to say about that. So, quoting the colonial-era historian Vincent Arthur Smith, he described Akbar's religious synthesis as, quote, a political sham religion that consisted essentially in the assertion of his personal supremacy over things spiritual as well as things temporal, end quote. Now, I know many people will discount anything written by a British historian because it serves the purposes of empire. The argument is that the British wanted to discredit the Mughals, the former emperors, to say how tolerant they were as opposed to the Mughals. I'm inclined to support Dr. Smith on this one. If you read Smith's book on Akbar, it's highly detailed. It is suffused with quotations from original source material, all of it cited to the original sources. So was Akbar the Tolerant really one of the most tolerant rulers in all of history? As a modern sociologist who does not read the languages, hey, I don't know. But I have discovered that nothing I see in scholarship about India can simply be taken for granted. Now, my entire book, Dharma Democracy, takes that approach to the sources on India. It interrogates them. It looks for the facts behind the assertions. I hope you'll come with me on that journey. I'm very proud of the book. Purchase link in the description.